Gordon says, hey guys, hope you and your families had a wonderful Christmas. What's up, Gordon? He said, sorry to ask a three-part question, but it's all related. Number one, if you're building a multi-city local niche lead gen site, it is my understanding that you can't use the same content for each city and just saying this, change the city optimizers. Is that true, or do you have to use completely different content for each city page, or can you change the content slightly and avoid a Google penalty? Okay, so number one, let me just answer that first. You know, over all the years, I've always said don't use the same content, and I've gone out of my way and spent an enormous amount of money and time and effort on generating unique content for all the pages. Mike Martin was the one that actually was like, he was finally the one to convince me that that's not absolutely necessary after all these years. And he made sense. The way that he broke it down, that really was the first time I ever thought about it in another way, right? Was that, you know, Google understands that the plumbing company, for example, has, you know, a couple of main services and they list them on their service page. Doesn't matter how many locations they serve, it's the same services, right? So how many times do you have to say that you do drain cleaning or water heater repair or water heater replacement? Like how many times do you have, how many different ways can you say that? It's the same damn service. It's just available in different locations. And so that was the first time I'd ever like really thought about like, okay, maybe it's not necessary to do what I've always done, which again, I've gone to great lengths to always use unique and original content. I used to talk about how, you know, for example, I would have, if I was going to go target, say 25 locations, I would get 5 articles written and I would have each one of those articles rewritten 4 times because the original article, and now I don't have articles written because my team does it based upon all the stuff that I just talked about. But when I used to buy content, I would have 5 original articles written, and then I would have each one of those articles rewritten 4 times because it was less expensive to have an article rewritten than to have a new article created. And when I say original article, remember guys, when you're buying content from content farms, none of that shit's original. All they do is go scrape content and they'll spin it maybe manually. But again, like it's content farm content is not original. It never is. So now everything that we do is original. It's AI assisted human generated content, if that makes sense. But anyways, I used to have like, again, in that example, 25, if I needed 25 location pages, I would have 5 original articles written, and in each one of those rewritten 4 times, that would give me 25. And when I would order the rewrites, I would order 4 different rewrites from 4 different authors, or, you know, writers, not authors, writers. If that makes sense? Because if you give the same article to one writer to rewrite 4 times, it's going to be, it's hard to do. How do I know that? Well, because my blogger, since all I do is tree service stuff, my bloggers told me before, like, it's exhausting always trying to write about tree service stuff, you know, and I don't blame her. I'm sure it gets very boring to write about the same shit over and over and over again. So anyway, all that said, you know, many projects over the years, I've always used unique content on all the pages, but more recently, I've really come to the realization that that's true. If it's for the same brand, I don't know why you would have to have complete unique content. Here's the thing. You can have the same content with swap out the location modifiers for each one of the location pages. It's the same services, just different locations. And then in the code, right? So in the schemas, this is how you can make the page more unique, right? The structured data for each one of the location pages should be unique to that location. So that makes it more unique, right? It's not, the location modifiers within the visible text on the page, the public facing side of the page is all going to be swapped out with, you know, with whatever location it's being optimized for. But the context of the page can still be the same because it's the same services just being served up to different locations. But then in the background, so in other words, in the schema and the code at the code level, you have now structured data that's unique to each location as well. And that kinds to add more diversity to the page itself, if that makes sense. So, you know, the short answer is I don't think it's totally necessary. I haven't done a ton of testing on that though. All of my own experience has always been using unique and original content on every page. But I think what he said was 100% logical. And since he does a lot of mass page stuff and he gets really good results with his own methods, I can't argue with that. You know what I mean? And I think it's very logical what he said. So hopefully that makes sense. This is a great question.